Howdy, howdy. Welcome on into the pre-show for the free show. And I think this might be the best pre-show that I have ever experienced in my entire life on Texas Football Today, because we have only one Greg. And it's not Greg Tepper. It's Greg Powers.
What's up, y'all?
How's it going, Powers?
You want me to say howdy?
Howdy,
howdy, y'all.
I don't say how. Well, I did today, but I've told Tepper in the past. I'm like, I need to say like, hey, hey, because howdy is a pickle thing.
Yeah,
that's a country pickle thing. Mine is, hey, hey. Oh, you don't have to join.
We're having a show today. Yeah, we're having a show.
Yeah, we are actually.
Pretty sure.
We decided to start without you.
Since when? You could have flagged me.
No.
Do you know what I was doing?
You know, this is an everyday
Researching
show.
the
This is
pre-show
your
topic?
show.
It's not my show.
It's your
This
show.
is no. Do you know what this is?
Okay.
This show belongs. Can I have the one shot? This show belongs to America.
Incorrect. I don't like the one shot.
Welcome into the pre-show
So
for
deep.
the pre-show. No, I was doing photographer credentials.
Ah, okay.
We've got. Do you know? Like, we put out the call for photographers because we are so reliant and we love our contributing photographers who help us out so much with the outstanding, especially on the high school side, because it's hard to be. For us, our job is to be everywhere at once, but we can't be everywhere at once, and especially with photography. So we rely so heavily on these outstanding photographers from across the state, and so we put out the call for more photographers. We are going to have more photographers this year than we've ever had.
That rocks.
Like, we're going to have, like I want to say the first year I was in charge, I was managing editor. I want to say we had about 40 photographers across the state. We have more than quadruple that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Which
That's
is great.
really awesome.
And it just means all that means is that we're going to be able to have outstanding photos for more games.
Right, which is great
Brilliant
for
idea.
me. Which is great for me because I'm the one that puts the pics video together.
And we need those.
And we
photos.
need those pictures. We need really good pictures. That's exciting. I'm really pumped for that.
Yeah.
I had a good idea just now as
And
you were
we
talking
go to
about
we
this.
go to Greg
Yes, we go to
Powers
Greg
for a good idea.
What is Wednesdays about here on Texas Football Today?
People know Wednesdays are about
Recruiting.
Wednesdays are about recruiting.
Yeah.
What if we had a recruit photo of the week from our photographers?
That's a good idea.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot, buddy.
A recruit photo of the week.
Recruit photo of the week. Okay, I'm into it. What if we just had a photo of the week? But
Photo
then
of
we
the
could.
week was cool, but I want to like put a recruiting
On
angle
Wednesdays,
to like
yeah.
inspire these photographers to shoot some cool recruiting photos.
Yeah.
What
Because
if
we
we
always
had a
need
cr-
recruiting photos.
Yeah, what if we have a recruit photo?
Can
of
I
the
tell
week?
you? So I
Or recruit photos of the week,
I need
even
to,
better.
I need to send this to our photographers when we get closer to week one.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we always need, and correct me if I'm wrong. From our photographers, we need to make sure we're getting both teams because like a lot of these
Yes,
photographers
yes.
are like
Good point.
it's like if they're a fan of Everman, I'm gonna pick up
Right.
my steps. Then they might go if they're hey, I want to go, I want to shoot Everman games. That's awesome. I also need photos of like Fort Worth Western Hills,
Whoever
they're
right,
Everman's
right.
right.
Just in case.
We always need a shot, like an action shot of the coach.
Yeah.
We can always use that. That's really helpful. And defenders.
Yes.
Like that's always
It's so tough to
it's
find
tough.
especially like defensive linemen. I
Yes.
can't ever find.
I would
Maybe
say-
if it's like
yeah.
an edge rusher, but like
Yeah.
like a typical like defensive tackle.
I would
can't
say
find it.
I would say
Can't
linemen
find it.
in general. And
Linemen
there-
in general, yeah.
And there are some photographers who are, and I want to be clear, we love all our photographers and we're thankful for what we get. But there's some photographers who are just like I always know it's like if I need a photo of like a lineman,
Yeah.
I'm like they're gonna do it. They're gonna have that.
Yeah.
That.
I love
Right.
the shot that comes in clutch for me, and photographers aren't necessarily inspired by this shot. I'm a photographer too, as all the photogs out there know. I'm out shooting games with them. So
Yes, you are.
the shot that comes in clutch for me that I use the most often from our photographers and myself, a lot of the times from games, isn't always the best action shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shot of the guy coming off the field.
Oh
Where I can get like a good profile shot of him.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
He's
Good
jogging
point.
off the field, or
He's
maybe
jogging
like,
off the
or maybe
field,
he's
or-
like celebrating with a teammate or something like that.
Right.
Like yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
It's
point.
not necessarily him making the tackle; it's him like getting
Right.
up and like pointing. or
Those
something.
always come in clutch, like creating recruiting profiles, or if you're just wanting to make an edit, because sometimes a lot of the action shots are really tough to make edits from,
Yeah.
especially like if they're turned to the side and the
Well, especially-
stadium's
yeah.
coming through their helmet and that kind of stuff. It's harder to edit those
Yeah.
into photo edits.
Yeah.
I like seeing pictures of the inflatables. Like if there's
Yeah.
like
we
Springtown.
also-
Springtown has one of the coolest
We get
inflatables
the-
ever.
We also,
I
our
like those
photographers
too.
are really good about getting like the big scene setter shots
Yeah.
of like here's just the team running out and the crowd cheering and stuff like that kind of stuff is awesome for us because
Yeah.
we can use that in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean?
For me, I just go right past those.
You do.
I
For me,
know, I
those
know.
Are
But
those
we
are
need it-
bogging
we
me
need it
down.
all.
Like I'm
We need
looking
it all.
through like the OneDrive or whatever, and those are like slowing me down to go through.
They're-
And I'm like, I'm
yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
the shots of the
See,
big time
see,
players.
I love those. Those are money for me because like when
Yeah.
I need a photo to talk about like if we're putting up the new episode of Tep and Step, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I just need a really good photo that represents high school football.
Inflatable.
Yeah.
Boom.
Here you go. The inflatable.
Well, I
inflatable
saw
comes in
that you
clutch.
used a photo like that whenever you did the Jonah Williams
Yes,
Spurns IMG
I did.
Academy to
Yes.
stay in
That's
in the state
I've that's the club in my bag.
at Galveston Ball.
Yeah,
So
Galveston Ball because I don't think we didn't have a photo of him. I know that like
Yeah.
an action shot of Jonah Williams.
well, that works. I
but-
mean, I never really think outside the box like that. A lot of times I'm always just like zoned in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking for a photo of Jonah. I'm looking for a
Yeah,
photo
I know.
of
Yeah,
Jonah.
and then like you do this all the time when you're doing for TexasFootball.com, and for me, this is like when I'm in magazine mode and I'm trying to
Yeah.
find photos of them.
Yeah, magazine.
And maybe you're like this with the pics video too, but like you will have it drilled into your head. You're like, I'm looking for number 9. I'm looking for number 9. I'm
Yes.
looking for number 9. I'm looking for number 9. You're just flipping through. It's like all these great photos of these great players that you're just zooming through, but you're like, I just need a
just
photo
need-
of 9.
Out of
Right.
the 300 photos I've searched for this year,
Yeah.
there was at least twice where the player I was looking for was the first or second photo.
Nice.
At least twice.
Nice.
That's lucky.
It happened with Gilmer, Will Henderson. I created his profile, made him a 3-star a couple weeks back.
Uh-huh.
Boom, second photo,
rocks.
Will Henderson.
That's when you walk up to the slot machine, you pull it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just,
right.
Like, hits. It's like that's because there is also, and I know you go through this a lot too, with the Pix video.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many photos to sort through.
There's
It's
a lot.
so it's
And
just
it bogs
it's,
down your
and
computer.
Again,
and-
this is first world problems because like having too many photos is a great problem for
Yeah.
us. But like it is like sorting through them and going through them. You're like, oh my gosh.
Shout out to our DCTF photogs.
They
Thanks
rock.
for all the help.
Thanks,
Y'all
guys.
rock.
You're great. You'll get your credentials when I finish them. But I was trying to finish them, but these guys need me to do a show. Hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the air sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show with internet access. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I am sitting in this chair, sitting over in that chair, making us sound good. She's my mal pal. She's your mal pal. She's everyone's mal pal. She is name an NFL backup quarterback.
Ooh, that's tough. Andy Dalton?
Andy Dalton. Our Andy Dalton. It's Mallory Hartley.
Hi. Good to
I'm
be
mal
here.
pal. Oh, do you have your Big Ten shirt on?
I do. I'm ready for football season, if you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
We'll win the Natty this year.
I'm
probably-
gonna short that position.
Yeah. There's probably a Michigan State backup quarterback out there somewhere.
Brian Hoyer is usually a backup quarterback. He was Cleveland's
Is
backup
Kirk
quarterback
Cousins
for a
still
while.
starting?
Yes, of course he's still starting.
I don't know. I think he's pretty spare.
The heart and the soul of Minnesota.
Sitting to my right, he is the director of recruiting for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. The man with a beard that will launch 1,000 ships. It's Greg Powers.
What's up, y'all?
Hi.
That's
doing good?
funny.
I don't know where that reference comes from, but I'm taking it as a
Jonah-
compliment.
Jonah-
That's just the type of mood I'm in.
Joan of Arc. What was that? There was something. Well, she had some line. She had the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Yes, that's what
Something
it is.
like that. I was saying you have a beard that launches 1,000 ships. Today is...
Again, I'm taking that as a compliment.
You should. I mean it as a compliment.
Okay.
Today is Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. It is 106 days until Thanksgiving. It's time to... I actually, when I was talking when my in-laws were in town, we talked Thanksgiving. And we're coming up with our plan. We're gonna go up to St. Louis for Thanksgiving. So we have our plan,
Nice.
but I'm offering to ship a turkey up there because I'm serious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 106 days to Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to anybody have a birthday today, August 9th?
No.
Nobody has a friend who's
don't
turning
think so.
a day. Happy birthday to, according to this website that I always go to. Today is the birthday of Anna Kendrick. Does that do anything for anybody?
Oh, yeah. Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. That
And
sounds
she's
right.
in Twilight, too.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Happy birthday to her, and also happy birthday to Colorado coach Deion Sanders.
Oh, wow.
Coach Prime.
He's 55.
Wow. 2 wows.
Nice.
Multiple wows.
Wow.
It's episode 1626, I think. 27, 28. Nailed it. On today's show, folks, This Week in Recruiting, all the news and notes from across the state of Texas, including a pair of huge commitments that are coming up this week, and Greg Powers will tell you where they're committing. This is not a spoiler. This is just a brave truth telling. In the back half of the show, speaking of Duncanville, A guy who's not going to commit this week, I don't think.
No.
Maybe he will. I don't know. 2025 wide receiver Dakorien Moore, who was such a star for that state championship team last year. We'll hear from him coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door, Mel Powell?
We sure do. It was Andrew Christensen, Nick Morton, Tony Blaylock, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas.
Today's also the birthday of Michael Kors, the guy who makes the purses.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And
Nice.
and Hoda Kotb.
Man, big
what's
birthday day
that?
today.
And Hoda Kotb hosts the Today Show. My wife loves Hoda Kotb.
Oh.
And then Sam Elliott, who is a
Oh,
certified
yeah.
badass.
Okay.
Sam Elliott's great.
It's the man we all aspire to be.
We really do. Speaking of men we all aspire to be,
Nice.
I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week.
In Cruton!
Good one.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter. No, well, I do follow our friends Next Level Athlete on Twitter at Next Level D1.
For sure.
But see his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. When I was in Lockhart this week, we did not eat at Chicken Express. We ate at a different restaurant because I have a
Lockhart?
four-year-old team demanded it. No, we didn't
Gotcha.
we didn't eat at Smitty's or Croyd's Market.
Okay.
But I will tell you, we were driving by the Chicken Express in Lockhart, jammed. Okay? I want you to think about how good Chicken Express was that in Lockhart, Texas, like the cradle of barbecue, there was like a line around the building
Wow.
at Chicken Express.
Jeez.
Because you know what?
That's not shocking, though.
People know.
Football
People do
season's
know.
right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And my brain naturally associates football and Chicken Express together.
Yeah.
Good one.
Like those are two things that go hand in hand now.
Yeah.
And it's just been built up, ingrained in me that when I think about football, I think about wanting to eat at Chicken Express. I can't help it.
Correct.
Yeah, I always think about the tendies and the gravy as the touchdown, the extra point.
Here,
Like you need both.
Here's
like
a-
one is fine, but like
I'm so hungry.
together.
here's a
talk
note to all
about this.
stadium managers. Chicken Express in the press box
oh
for the win.
oh
Yeah,
oh,
good point. Good point.
100%. If you walk into a press box and like
There's a tray of
they've
attendees.
they got chicken ear, they got like the yellow boxes sitting
Yeah.
there. Sometimes you're just like,
Let's do it.
I've
Let them do the
I haven't
cooking.
experienced that before.
You haven't?
No.
it is about.
That might.
I'd say it's probably
Make my
one out of every
entire
10
life.
press boxes I go in.
Yeah.
Or about them.
Corsicana always used to do it.
Mhm.
Used to
Oh
be
my
loaded up with
gosh,
Chicken
yeah. A few
Express.
others.
Allen, sometimes I get
Mhm.
lucky with Chicken Express. Well, where I hook up with Chicken Express at Allen is when the teams order it for like when they're going to get on the bus.
Did I tell
And
you?
I walk by and I'm like, hey, buddy. how
This
about-
is.
You
I promise
got an
we'll
extra
get,
box?
I promise we'll get to recruiting in a moment. But like, there was a game a couple years ago, like 2021, I want to say. We went out to a Longview game.
Yeah.
They're playing in Mesquite, and I think they're playing West Mesquite. And so we go out there. It was a Thursday night. Go out there. After the game, we're talking with Coach King. They get a win, stuff like that. I'm talking with Coach King, and his wife, and I think his daughter, who is like a badass gymnast, was there too.
Oh, that's
But anyway,
awesome.
we were all talking, and like Coach was talking to me about like something important, and all I kept doing was looking over his shoulder at his players who were all sitting there with the yellow boxes, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
could you stop talking and just let me
observe.
Let me see if you got, I'm like, you guys got any more of those boxes? Anyway, we love you, Chicken Express. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our recruiting director here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We'll start with our Prospect on the Rise. Prospect on the Rise, let's go to Comanche.
Let's do it.
Talk about their soon-to-be senior cornerback, Kyler Beatty, who grand opening, grand closing, picked up an offer from Baylor on August 1st, thought about it for about 72 hours, and said, yep,
Committing.
works for me. Kyler Beatty, the newest Baylor commit there, going to the Bears. And I know Coach Jake Escobar is crazy about this young man.
Yeah, quoted difference maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. A guy who really does start on both sides of the ball for them. Comanches, you know what? Don't sleep on Comanche. I think, what were they, 10-2 last season? And have a lot of talent coming back. In addition to Kyler Beatty, they have a really good running back who's going to be a junior this season. A lot of people are going to be talking about him pretty soon. But keeping it specific to Kyler, he's a guy who sticks out like a sore thumb on this highlight tape because he's bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody else who's on it. Like when you're watching this level of football, you're looking at the cornerback. You're not expecting him to be like one of the biggest dudes on the field. Well, that's what happens here. And he dominates at how you would expect a kid to dominate at this level of ball who's going to be playing at a P5 conference school in state at Baylor. I really like his upside and potential as he matures within that program at the next level in Waco as a corner, big-bodied corner. Could certainly slide over and probably play some safety as well if need be. But they like to get him involved on the offensive side of the ball as well. And I like to watch that on this highlight tape because that shows you his overall athleticism and his upside and potential as he locks in on the defensive side of the ball moving forward. Most likely on the defensive side of the ball moving forward. Big commitment for Baylor, but really cool news out of Comanche. I think that a lot of fans are going to be psyched to go out and watch future Baylor Bear on Friday Night Live.
Yeah, he's
under the Friday Night Lights.
Most certainly. He is a big-time playmaker and a nice get for Dave Aranda and company as they pull in cornerback Kyler Beatty out of Comanche. Let's move down to Houston to talk about our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is Atascocita wide receiver Jelani Watkins, our number 4 wide receiver in the DCTF Rising Hot 100, our number 28 prospect overall in the class of 2024, and he committed this week to LSU. The Tigers continue to go into Houston and do some damage on the recruiting trail, and Jelani Watkins is the latest Tiger to be.
Yeah, and speed is the name of Jelani Watkins' game. 10.33 verified 100-meter speed. He's been clocked as low as 10.21 in the 100-meter dash, so I think that he challenges Texas A&M commitment Ernest Campbell for the fastest man in the class of 2024. I'm probably putting him 1, 2, and we'll talk about number 3 a little bit later on. I got 3 guys who I think are the speediest guys in the state. Watkins is known for that speed, and he can transform, screen passes or quick passes into big gains, explosive plays, touchdowns. But don't sleep on his ability to stretch the field, and because he has really good hands. Soft hands, strong hands, catches the ball really well. Kind of a more well-rounded receiver than you typically say just like as a specific slot guy. But I do think he's the highest-rated slot wide receiver in the state and can just bring a little bit more to the table than just a specific slot player. You'll see here as he played for Klein Forest last year, they like to line him up in the backfield, find creative ways to get him the ball, and I think Humble Atascocita will do the same thing. That was big news this week as well because I didn't know Jelani Watkins had transferred to Humble Atascocita until I saw the reports coming out from those who attended some of the practices here as we lead up to the season. That's a big time addition to an offense that already has Torrey Blaylock, already has Nate Kibble up front. Humble Atascocita is a state championship contender, and even more so now that they have a bona fide 4-star to stretch the field.
He's a star and going to do some big time damage there at LSU once he gets there as Jelani Watkins, the newest commitment for the LSU Tigers. We're talking This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our recruiting analyst here at Dave Campbell's Text Football. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Let's roll on to our prospect on the rise. Underclassmen week. Underclassmen week, thank you. We're going to the class of 2025 to talk about Houston legacy offensive lineman Joshua Moses, who this week became the first commitment for Texas A&M in that aforementioned class of 2025.
Yes.
He had offers from places like Oklahoma, TCU, Arkansas, decided to commit to the Texas A&M Aggies. Houston Legacy School of Sports and Sciences, I think it's what its full name is. But he is a guy who is entering his junior year and already has 3 years of varsity play under his belt. Explain that to me.
Well, the Houston Legacy School of Sports Sciences allows their players to play varsity when they're in the 8th grade.
Jeez.
So their league allows that.
Yeah.
So he's been on the radar for a long time. We've known about him for a while. He plays left tackle there, and he has pretty quick feet for a guy who's he's massive, right? But what I really like about his development is whenever he first started stepping onto the field his 8th and 9th grade years, he was probably up around 340, 345. So he's shed about 25, 30 pounds as he's entering now his junior season, gotten in really good shape, started to transform his body, and that helps him move even better. And you can see that reciprocated in his offer list. He picked Texas A&M over schools like Oklahoma and Arkansas, so he was a guy that was really starting to jump up the recruiting lists and the ranking lists, and I think he will even more so powered behind a strong junior season. He plays left tackle, but he's a guard moving forward. He's going to play on the interior of the offensive line in the SEC. Good road grader, but he's not a slappy whenever it comes to pass blocking. So he's a well-rounded guy, and a guy I think that has a really big upside. That Legacy School of Sports Sciences has some pretty good talent in the pipeline right now. Not only have Joshua Moses, but they have a prospect, Joseph Smith, who just made a commitment to Arizona State, and they got Keyshawn Henderson and Mike Brown in the class of 2026. So colleges are going to be stopping by there. This is going to be a hotbed for recruiting talent over the next couple cycles.
He is a name to know there. Houston Legacy's Joshua Moses, big-time offensive lineman, and now heading to Texas A&M as the part of their class of 2025. Let's round it all out with our recruits of the week.
Yep. Put the S in there.
And it's a double dip in Duncanville coming down tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
2:00 tomorrow. Duncanville defensive end Colin Simmons and running back Caden Durham will both be committing Thursday, August 10th at 2:00. DCTF, you will be there, correct? DCTF will be there on hand for the announcement. Simmons is the number one prospect in the DCTF Rising Hot 100. Overall, he's number one defensive end. I guess I should probably tell you that too. But he is a nationally rated recruit. Same thing with Caden Durham, who is, where does he clock in?
In his speed, I think.
No. I meant on the.
He's the number 2 running back. I think he's the number 16 prospect in the Hot 100. So
you got,
like an elite guy.
Yeah. So 2 of the top 16 recruits in the state are going to be committing at the same time tomorrow, 2:00. There at Duncanville High School. Simmons has a final 3 of Texas, Miami, and LSU. Durham has a final 3 of A&M, Oklahoma, and LSU. Here's my thought, and this is the way my brain works. I see one team that each of them have in their final 3, and if they're committing together, I wonder if tomorrow's going to be a good day for the Bayou Tigers.
Man, the recruitment of Colin Simmons has been a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride. Caden Durham as well, and I'll just walk you through what I think and how I feel about both of these guys. First and foremost, Colin Simmons is probably the most elite pass rusher in the country. Broke Duncanville's sack record last year with 22.5 sacks.
Duncanville's sack record. Like not like, this program that's been around for 5 years, and not this program that hasn't put guys into college and the NFL. Duncanville,
And helped lead them to Coach Samples, a historic Texas high school football coach, his first state championship win. They wouldn't have won that game if Colin Simmons wasn't on the field. Let's just be honest. He had a great game in the state championship game, and that's what makes him an elite recruit. I compare him favorably to Kaylavon Chason. That is my player comparison for Colin Simmons. They remind me so much of one another. And you remember Chason was a beast as well when he was playing Texas high school football before he committed to LSU over Texas. Very similar story. This one has been trending all over the place over the last couple weeks, over the last 48 hours. You probably heard me talking to our bosses in here about where Colin Simmons was leaning. 48 hours ago, I was saying LSU. This one has trended back heavily in favor of Texas.
Really?
Especially over the last 24 hours.
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz out there that this one could end up favorably for the Longhorns. LSU has been at the top or towards the top of his leaderboard for a long time, but he's had a solid top 2 of LSU and Texas for a while now. Texas just has been able to put together a good NIL package for Colin Simmons and offers him the opportunity to stay close to home to play his college ball. So I'm keeping a really close eye on the Longhorns. Could trend in the direction of LSU overnight. I mean, you never know what happens.
But you think right now it's a top 3, but you would narrow it down to a top 2 LSU.
Well, I mean, he said he's quoted as saying it was a top 2 at one point, and now Miami's back in there. But I think it comes down to LSU and Texas, and there's a lot that makes me want to say LSU in this, because it was LSU in Georgia. It was LSU in this school. It was LSU has always been there. In my experience covering these recruitments, that school usually wins, right? If you're the top two with a bunch of other schools and you've always been like there with other schools, that school usually wins out. Texas has done a remarkable job in this recruitment. If he picks Texas, Steve Sarkisian and his staff, this is like the biggest win since they've been there. I know that they've gotten 2 tremendous number 1 rated running backs, but he's a transcendent defensive player.
So you're saying you would put this, and certainly I know he was an out-of-state kid.
Yeah.
You would say that this would be a bigger win than Arch Manning.
I think so, just for what he brings to the defensive side of the ball. Now, I would also rate Colin Simmons higher than Arch Manning, personally.
Yes.
Like, based off of tape. So that's just me. And I don't cover state of Louisiana football, so I don't know that. But I did watch Arch Manning whenever he committed to Texas. We certainly talked about it a whole lot. But if I were rating those guys side by side in the same class, Colin Simmons would be rated ahead of Arch Manning in my personal rankings. So yes, I would. I mean, I think I would take the running backs too. The last 2 running backs that they've signed from out of state were both like excellent stud players. I think that they're really good.
So that's Colin Simmons, and he's going to be choosing between Texas, LSU, and Florida. You think it's down to Texas and LSU?
Yeah, Texas, LSU, and Miami.
I'm sorry, Texas, LSU, and Miami. Correct. Caden Durham, his superstar running back on the other side, has a final 3 of Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and LSU. Now, this is one of the fastest guys in Texas as well.
Yeah, there's a healthy debate. I think there's a healthy debate between Jelani Watkins and Caden Durham, because Caden Durham's a 10.25 guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, elite track speed. My player comparison for Caden Durham is J.K. Dobbins. So I really think that J.K. Dobbins and Caden Durham's game resemble each other a lot. Very similarly rated, one of the top players in the state of Texas. Run really hard in the middle of the field, no wasted movement, with that ability to kick it into top gear and score touchdowns. Again, what Simmons provided on the defensive side of the ball for Duncanville, Durham brought to the table on the offensive side of the ball. I think the difference for that offense to be able to win the state championship last year was speed. And Durham provided that. Dakorien Moore provided some of it on the outside as well, and they had some good other receivers who were not only like big dudes, but they could also run. But Durham's ability to kick it into another gear helped them score more touchdowns. They were a much more much more explosive offense, I feel like, in 2022. And all those guys are like basically coming back this year. Durham has Texas A&M, LSU, and Oklahoma. I'm looking at LSU and Oklahoma as the top 2 in this. And again, OU has always been the perceived leader in his recruitment. He transferred to Duncanville from Southmore High School. He's got, I think both of his parents might have went to OU. But caveat here, OU recently picked up a commitment from the number 1 rated running back in the state, Taylor Tatum. So Caden Durham's number 2. I think he's heading to Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So if I had a gun to my head right now, sports gun to my head right now. Burn orange for Colin Simmons. Okay. Go Tigers for Caden Durham. And I think it's going to be this is going to be a wild commitment ceremony. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be fun.
And stay tuned. TexasFootball.com/recruiting. We'll have all the interviews and all the stuff posted as soon as we can.
He's Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and he will be in Duncanville tomorrow at 2 o'clock, so make sure you follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout and see his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Stick around because we need to talk more Duncanville after this.
Let's do it.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hope you'll consider going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. You get 3 magazines, including our legendary summer edition. You get a year of exclusive content on TexasFootball.com, including great insights on the recruiting side from Greg Powers, and you get the fine work of Mallory Hartley.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get a year of Texan Live. That's right, our streaming platform with more than 1,400 live high school events, including more than 300 high school football games and more than 100 live playoff games. You get that. You can watch water polo today. Is that correct?
Right now, you could right now.
Right now?
I don't know if we're live right now, but you can go back and watch it.
You can watch water polo now on TexanLive.com. If you go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe, everything I just listed, all for $50. Actually less, $49.95 for the entire year.
Deal.
It is an absurd deal. I'm starving because of this. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Now a word from these goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
The Gambling Gauchos are a Texas Tech podcast serving you money lines, memes, and matador content on Twitter, YouTube, and StakingThePlains.com.
Well, let's put it this way. They pay me off in tortillas, I'm going to shoot them right in the eye.
If you're looking for more Big 12 sports content from a host who wants a 25 tacos in 20 minutes and another that can provide a taco bites per minute analytical breakdown of the feed, then Rob and Kyle are the hosts for you. New episodes every Sunday and Thursday on the Republic of Football podcast feed.
Powers, you're going to be down in Duncanville tomorrow for the commitment of Caden Durham and Colin Simmons. Somebody who I'm going to guess is going to be in the audience. That's a guess.
Yep.
Is star wide receiver for the Duncanville Panthers, Dakorien Moore, in the class of 2024, entering his junior season after a breakout sophomore year. You caught up with him a little bit earlier, is that correct?
Yeah, we did. We caught up with him this weekend at a workout in Frisco at the Sports Academy. You know, our friends over at the Sports Academy. Dakorien Moore is the number one player in the class of 2025. So Duncanville right now has back-to-back number ones, 2024 Colin Simmons, 2025 Dakorien Moore. He has 36 offers, so we discussed some of the top programs that he's looking at right now. And he even previews Colin and Caden's decision a little bit, put me on the spot, getting me to talk about it a little. So
I love that. Here's Dakorien Moore of Duncanville here on Texas Football Today.
Greg Powers, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and I'm joined out here with the number one player in the state, Dakorien Moore. What's it like to hear that?
Since I was little, I've been waiting for something like this. It's like I was really little, just thinking about it. Seeing all the great athletes that's in the league now do it before me, I had to do it myself.
Plays for the number one team in the state. It probably sounds better to hear that.
Definitely, we've been working on that for I don't know how long since I got here. To be honest, I first got to Duncanville, I didn't even know who they was. Man, they had to introduce me to everything. I knew it was the perfect place for me, and it's just been go mode ever since.
What was so special about last year's team, and how do you guys capture it again?
That team, that was the team that was hurt the most. You know, that first year when we had lost that state championship, when we came back, we already knew what time it was. We was on lockdown. That whole year, we were so focused, and our mindset was on a different level that year. So when we came into that game, it was just a whole different type of energy we put on the field.
You don't hear number one player, number one team without a whole lot of hard work that's going on off of the field. You're out here training today. Every time I turn around, I see you outside training somewhere here doing some work. What's it mean to you to start to reap the benefits of that? I know that it's cool to have offers. I know that it's cool to have all these schools coming after you, but it's got to be something inside you that makes you feel special.
Yeah, for football, that's just the way I relieve my stress, to be honest. Like, when I'm not doing nothing, I go play football. Like, for some reason, if I'm not doing nothing, I'm going to touch a football. Even if I'm laying in my bed, I just got to touch a football. That's what I build myself around. It's just, I love the game too. And I love just the feeling of me holding the football in my hand. It's just something unreal.
I picked you as the number one player in our rankings. And here's why. I don't want this to go to your head or anything like that, but here's why. When I watched you play on tape, it wasn't about the catches that you made. It was about the plays that you had that that you didn't get the ball when you're blocking. It seems like you attack the game with an aggressive mindset. So in general, that seems like how Duncanville played last year. Is that what we can expect coming back?
Definitely. The little things matter. Just getting our whole team in the end zone. That first year, we was big on it, but we didn't execute as much as we did the second year. We was pushing for it that second year. We watched the film and we seen the little mistakes that we didn't do, and we put it to the test, and it just so happened to be what we needed, and we got it done.
A lot of scholarships. How many are you up to?
30. I'm gonna say 36. I think 36.
36 scholarships. I'd be here all week if we were talking about all those schools because you'd be breaking them all down for me. I'm going to pick a few schools out and just ask you about them specifically.
Okay.
I'm going to start in the Pacific Northwest because it seems like a school that's been on you for a long time. You're taking some trips up there even though it's far away from home. And they're moving to the Big Ten now, and big news this week. It's like big news in college football. That's Oregon. What keeps the Ducks in it?
When I went down there, they welcomed me with open arms, man. They showed me a lot of love. Coach Adams, he a real chill dude. You know, I like his vibe. I like what he do with his receivers. You know, I feel like I could trust him with my body and just with everything that he put into me, his effort and everything.
Texas is a school that's in state, so I got to ask about the Longhorns. Coach Jackson has ties to the NFL's coaching NFL receivers. What is it about the Longhorns that you like, and why could they be a realistic option to see you in the Burn Orange sometime?
To be honest, I got there because it was just home, man. I didn't visit it there before Coach Jackson was there. Coach Jackson got there, and he just turned it on from there. As soon as he got there, he wanted to communicate with me and stuff like that. So it just shows all the love that he got for me and that he really wanted me at the school. You know?
Is that a prime example of relationships and recruiting?
Definitely, too? I'm big on communication.
I see a lot of lanyards and stuff hanging off your back. You've been on a lot of trips. But one of those trips I know that probably is pretty important to you is LSU. Not only is LSU really stepping into Duncanville really hard right now, it's a program that's always relevant in Texas, relevant in the national picture of college football. What is it about Go Tigers?
Right now, I'm trying to see where my dog go, man. You know, we came back from LSU, and it was just a feeling, you know. So I don't really got too much to say about them, but they treated us like family when we got there, man. It was like we blended in just fine.
Coach Kelly has that program going in the right direction?
Definitely.
For those that don't know, his teammates that are making a decision this week, Colin Simmons, the number one rated player in the class of 2024, giving Duncanville back-to-back. As you're the number one guy in 2025, he's set to announce his decision this Thursday between LSU, Texas, and Miami. And then you have Caden Durham as well, who's set to announce his decision. I can't remember the third school in Caden's mix, but I got it down to LU and LSU. So everybody stay tuned.
What do you think about LSU?
I like LSU, man. Like LSU is a school that they've always moved the needle in Texas. You know, that's what I think. And just keeping it specific to Duncanville, the player that I've always compared Colin Simmons to is Caleb Von Chason. Caleb Von Chason is a guy who I had the opportunity to rate 5 stars when he was coming out of North Shore himself. Was a really good player in the playoffs, and that's where I saw Colin step up the most. You know, I don't think Duncanville would have won that championship without Colin's defensive presence. You know, although this is for my friends back at Dave Campbell's at DCTS, there was one man who picked Duncanville to win the state championship before the season started, and that was Greg Powers. You're talking to him right now. So I was the guy who picked Duncanville, and here's the reason why.
I seen it too.
I feel like the speed on last year's team was the difference maker compared to the Duncanville teams of the past. You had yourself out there out at wideout, and then I feel like Caden Durham's speed was something special. Now, Jameer Willis went down with an injury, but Keelan was able to step up and fill a really big void and kind of grew into that state championship.
We had to build him from the start, man. We knew that he ain't had no varsity experience, so we had to welcome him, show him some love, and we had to build him up. Even though he make all the plays, he's still our QB1, so we had to get him right, you know, for the season.
Bigger, faster, and stronger this year too, with some D1 offers to back them up. Duncanville's going to be a team to watch. Thanks to Dakorien Moore, number one player in the state. Good luck as you go through the season, and of course as you attack the recruiting process.
Appreciate y'all.
There is Dakorien Moore, wide receiver for Duncanville, the number one prospect in the class of 2025, the DCTF Rising Hot 100, and asking you what you think about LSU. I like that he reversed the whip on you. Like you pulled him and you're trying to throw him into the corner, and he reversed it and threw you into the turnbuckle.
That was nice. It caught me unaware because that doesn't happen very often. But I feel like I had a good rapport on camera with Dakorien.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy interviewing humble, hardworking top recruit. Number one player in the state and a tremendous attitude, someone that you can't help but root for, and that kind of shows through on his game tape.
Mm-hmm.
He never takes a play off. Whether he's getting the ball or not, if he's blocking, running routes, dude plays hard.
Would you say that he's got that dog in him?
He's got that dog in him.
Let's go over to Mallory
Did
Hartley.
you? I thought you wanted me to say it. He's got that dog in him.
Let's go over to Mallory Hartley for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
We will have Republican football today at 2.
2. Woo.
Carter, Ish, and I all watched the Johnny Manziel documentary last night, so we're gonna break it down.
We're gonna review it.
Give you our thoughts. Yeah, we're gonna review it. So we'll talk about realignment stuff too, obviously right off the bat. But then we're gonna review that. So we're excited.
Review the Johnny football documentary.
Our magazine's in it.
I heard that. I heard Dave Campbell's makes a.
We specifically get a one shot of our magazine.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Very interesting. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Did you like it?
It was pretty good. I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
It was good. Yeah.
Out of 40. I haven't seen it. It's been popping up on my Netflix, but I haven't done it.
I'm
too busy watching.
I have
BoJack
regret.
Horseman.
I have Johnny Manziel regret. I rated him 3 stars.
I think everybody did that.
Yeah.
I think
Rated him
everybody,
3. Could you say that was right? I don't think so. He won the Heisman.
He did win the Heisman.
Yeah. As a freshman.
He was the number 51 player.
So that would have been. So he was like a borderline 4-star. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, like he was 1 away from being. The 1 away guy always comes. The 1 away guy always haunts.
Yeah.
Always.
Because that's the thing. Because that's the thing. Is like you didn't have him rated 133rd.
Right.
As a 3-star. You had him rated like 3.9 basically.
Right.
What I mean? 3.9 stars. So like that's not great, obviously. But
still
regret. I get it. Yeah, I understand.
I didn't make the documentary.
That's fine. Sorry, buddy. I was rooting to get you interviewed and stuff like that, but apparently not. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Dakorien Moore of Duncanville for being our guest. For Mallory Hartley and Greg Powers, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Friday, I think, right?
Correct.
Friday. Texas Football Today.